Deer management is about knowing your ground, and viewers of last month's film may have noticed that this is exactly the same roebuck as we saw last month. Keep moving because otherwise they'll. Yeah, that's a bugger. We'll try and get up on them from above, I think. Because there's two ways of approaching them. One is shooting up into the bank up there, and the other one is coming up the top of the bank and shooting down into this patch here. Both in nice safe shots. Look, you'll see them just up here on the edge, I think. Run in. Yeah, there they are.
Oh yeah, got it. That's on.
Yeah. So we'll get on top of them. That's good. You'll see them through the gap there. Yeah. There they are, running up the hedge line. We'll try and get on top of them. Hopefully they'll settle down.
Yeah, they have.
Good. There they are. Can you see them? Still there?
Yes. Yep.
Now look. Right, so you're going to be a little bit sneaky. Yeah, James, they should be just along that wood line down there. Yeah. You may even be able to spot them from here. Let's have a little look.
Ah, yeah, I see him.
Yep, that's right. I think the doe's in front of the buck there, isn't it?
And there's a buck moving up along the, just along the edge.
Brilliant. All right. Tell you what, we'll make tracks. We'll get down there and try and see if we can get a shot.
Okay.
May is one of the finest months of the year to be hunting roebuck. The deer are now exhibiting beautiful foxy red coats, and the antlers of the mature animals are clean of velvet. Along with the rut in late July and early August, it is also a period in this deer species' annual cycle when they are at their most active. I've had my eye on this particular patch of ground for some time, and just minutes into our stalk, time on the ground pays off as we spy just the animal I've been looking for. With the deer now at around 130 yards, we set up on the sticks. We take valuable moments to gather ourselves and coordinate our actions.
The other one is following.
You see the other one?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see the other one.
It's on the left. Down.
Get some nice footage.
I'm on it.
We've got plenty of time. Hang on, James, but don't shoot. Right, calm down, everyone. We get some nice bushes here, nice and steady. Just stay on. You're on the doe, aren't you?
No, on the buck.
Okay, just cover the doe. Can you get James in the shot?
Yeah, he's in the shot.
Okay, let's just let him come up the hill. James, are you nice and steady?
Yeah, still coming.
Take your time here.
Right, I'm ready when you are.
Right, James, when you've got a nice clear shot, you can take that. You and you on it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're comfortable, James, take your time. Squeeze from them, James. Squeeze.
Wait for his neck to come around.
Yeah, just wait for his head to come up. Gentle squeeze. Hang on. Well done, mate, well done. He's stone. Nice. Great shooting, mate. Well done.
Let's just stay for a minute and let
We'll
it
cover
kick
it
out.
for a little while.
I think that's
Yeah, he's
solid.
down, mate. Well done. Well done. Good shooting. Nailed it, mate. Nailed it. Well done. Well done. Well done. Good shooting. Brilliant. Really good.
Okay.
Talk me through it, guys.
Okay, so I mean, this is another one of these great things about May, this time of year. The roebuck are everywhere, very, very visible. We've literally, what, we're 10 minutes into the stalk, 5 minutes into the stalk in reality, aren't we?
Yeah.
We just pulled up down there. There's a couple of animals beside the wood there, and I bumped them a little bit as I got out of the car. So I think rather than pressing up on an animal that's already aware of you, it's better to sort of rethink, never push a bad position, as they say. So we came round in the car, and instead of coming up from behind, we came over the top of them for a nice safe shot down there into the bank. And they were just coming up the wood line here. You could see the doe was leading, and then the buck was just behind her.
Yeah, one thing to point out also is the importance of calming down the breathing, especially moving in an exciting stalk like that, even coming up and quiet, getting in position. So luckily, the way that animal was moving, it gave us time to calm down and really set on the heart rate.
This was the thing, they weren't actually going anywhere. Yes, the doe was onto us a little bit. She was looking, she was a bit inquisitive, wasn't she? Something slightly different there on the landscape.
But that buck would have just poked along the hedge for another 20 minutes.
Yeah,
really.
and it's so easy to just push up on them, take your shot. No, it's nice. Deer stalking is a considered sport, so when you get the opportunity to be considered and think about your shot, then take full advantage of it. This buck, incidentally, here, you may have seen from the last month's film. He's an old friend, as it were. We saw him last month, and he was on his own at that point. Just a very young buck, very immature, but he's picked himself up a girlfriend, and that's what we had here today. So it's that buck, and he's should be. I mean, we'll wait and see when we go down there. But if he is the same buck from last month, and he is the one that I was thinking of, I'm sure he is. He looked it through the binoculars as if the antler development was very, very poor. So it means he's a perfect cull buck.
Perfect cull buck, and perfect for roast. So.
Let's get down there. We'll take a look. It's been a few minutes.
It's not a sausage, exactly. Cheers. All right, shall we go?
Yeah, we can have a look. After a customary few minutes to ensure the animal has expired without pressure, we move up to retrieve James's Sunday roast. James unloads his Sauer and makes safe. Okay, so deer management, it's about knowing your ground. And viewers of last month's film may have noticed that this is exactly the same roebuck as we saw last month. He was the one that I was barking and calling in. There's a few subtle changes here. Yes, he'd got himself a girlfriend, but also he's lost the velvet from his antlers. This is what we call being in tatters. He's thrashed and at the bushes, and effectively this is coming away revealing hard horn now, whereas last month he was entirely in velvet. He's only a youngster, he's a perfect little cull buck, and we know that because of this antler development, which is very, very simple and typical of a buck in his first year. Shot placement's an interesting one. Now, he reacted slightly strangely, didn't he, James?
Yes.
On this one, I hope you caught this on camera, he hunched up, didn't he, rather than kicking out his back legs. Very unusual for a buck that's been shot with a perfect heart lung shot. They tend to kick out that back legs and run, but he hunched and then just toppled
Topped
over,
a
didn't
couple
he?
feet, yes. Now, so it was unusual, and again, first instant we're a little concerned about shot placement, but it turned out to be fine. So, and one final thing to point out here is, you recall last time we saw this buck on the last film, the coat was very much he was molting, so
Scruffy little beast,
scruffy
wasn't
little beast, exactly. And now you can see how he's molted out of his winter coat. He's coming into this beautiful red color, and that hair is still coming off of him as he gets ready for his full summer reddish brown coat, which is just
fabulous. And just coming back, actually, James mentions there about that shot placement and shot reaction. Yeah, unusual actually. Just coming back onto that point, because when they hunch up, it tends to be the sign of having been struck in the gut. But that just shows you, doesn't it, that whilst you can look carefully at these deer and look at shot reaction, and it gives you a good indication of what's happened, it's not always a fail-safe. So James, good shooting, mate, well done. Nice little roebuck, middle of May, fantastic, job done. I've always felt a deep passion for deer, and ever since my first stalk for fallow many years ago, I've been gripped by a profound fascination for these noble creatures. Whether hunting red stags in the Scottish Highlands or roebuck on a wet May morning, stalking deer has presented me with some of the most memorable moments spent in the UK countryside. Okay, mate.
Yeah, it was actually.
It just goes absolutely. I carry out a suspended gralloch of the shot beast before stopping for a well-earned breakfast. Scotch egg and a cigar. The navvy and the gentleman. If you'd like to experience the thrill of stalking deer in the UK countryside, then visit our website for more details, www.countydeerstalking.co.uk/go stalking.